Did you know that the Dangote refinery, even before its completion, struck a strategic deal with NNPC? Curious about what this means for Nigeria's oil future? Have you ever wondered what the real price of fuel per liter should be, and who actually controls it? Why is the Dangote refinery currently the only fully operational refinery in Nigeria? What happened to the others, and how does this impact you? In this video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of NNPC, Nigeria's oil sector, and the game-changing Dangote refinery. We'll explore why fuel prices continue to surge, what's really driving costs, and how this impacts the average Nigerian. Stay tuned as some facts and insights may surprise you. Let's get started.
Government has been providing private sector players with licenses to build and own petroleum refineries. The administration of President Buhari introduced the Modular Refinery initiative to ramp up the nation's refining capacity and meet local demand. First on our list is the Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company. This project is a wholly owned subsidiary of AIPCC Energy. It operates in two phases with capacities of 1,000 bpsd and 5,000 bpsd and has been commissioned and is fully operational. Work on Phase 2, which will have a capacity of 12,000 barrels per day, has already begun, with full operations expected to start in 2024. Second on our list is the Dewport Midstream. Located in Edo State, this is a 2,500 bpd refinery that was completed in 2022 and started production in 2023. Next is the Walter Smith Refinery. The Walter Smith Refinery is a 5,000 barrels per day oil refinery located in Imo State. The refinery started operations in 2020, with plans to expand its capacity to 50,000 barrels of oil per day in the coming years. Next we have the OPAC Refinery, Delta State. This 10,000 barrels per day modular refinery located in Kawale, Delta State was completed in 2021 as part of the federal government's effort to improve local crude oil refining. Next we have the Niger Delta Petroleum Refinery. The initial 1,000 bbls per day ago topping plant was commissioned in 2010. Currently, the 3-train, 11,000 bbls per day modular refinery produces automotive gas oil, dual-purpose kerosene, marine diesel oil, high-pure fuel oil, and naphtha. Next we have the Old Port Harcourt Refinery. Built and commissioned in 1965 with a refining capacity of 60,000 barrels of oil per day. Then, it cost Shell BP around £12 million to build. The refinery operated above 50% of its design capacity, and throughout the 1990s, it experienced a gradual decline in output. In March 2021, the federal government awarded the repair of the refinery to Tecnimont SPA, an Italian company that would carry out repair works in phases. In December last year, the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Senator Kinikan Lokpobiri, announced the mechanical completion and flare startup of the refinery. Next we have the Kaduna Refinery. This refinery has a capacity of 110,000 barrels per day. It was built in 1976 at a cost of $525 million. Like all other government-owned refineries, it has, over time, produced below its capacity. In 2021, the federal government approved a contract for the turnaround maintenance of the refinery at a cost of $586 million. Next we have the Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company. The 125,000 barrels per day capacity WRPC was built and commissioned in 1978 at a cost of around $478 million. The refinery has never achieved full capacity utilization as production has declined steadily except in the early 1990s, during which there was a brief upswing in production. In 2021, the federal government awarded the contract for the repair of the decrepit refinery to Saipem Spa at a cost of $897 million. Next on our list is the new Port Harcourt Refinery. In 1985, the federal government commissioned the new Port Harcourt Refinery, built at a cost of $850 million. It has the capacity to refine 150,000 barrels of oil daily. The commissioning of the new Port Harcourt refinery increased the total refining capacity of the plants to 210,000 barrels per day. Recent processing performance has fallen significantly below design capabilities in both refinery throughput and the yield of higher value products. The refinery has rarely operated above 50% of its design capacity. During the 1990s, it experienced a gradual decline in throughput, resulting in a proportionate increase in the yields of lower-value fuel oil products. The refinery was part of the $1.5 billion turnaround maintenance awarded by the federal government to Technomont SPA in 2021 to be fully completed in about 44 months. And finally we have the latest, which is the Dangote refinery and petrochemicals. This is a 650,000 barrels per day and the refinery is located in Lekki, Lagos State. The refinery cost around $19 billion and was commissioned in May 2023. Oil refining started in late December 2023, and it started dispensing products to local and international markets as of May 2024.
Nigeria's fuel crisis took a sharp turn for the worse when the NNPC shut down its 4 major refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna. According to NNPC Group Managing Director Mele Kyari, the shutdown was a necessary response to major challenges that had rendered these refineries nearly ineffective. In an exclusive interview on Channels Television's Politics Today, Kyari explained the shutdown decision, citing 2 major issues: compromised crude delivery and the need for a deeper overhaul than previously performed maintenance. Kyari revealed that Nigeria's critical pipeline network, essential for transporting crude to these refineries, had suffered widespread vandalism, making steady crude delivery almost impossible. Without a reliable supply of crude oil, the refineries couldn't reach their maximum capacity and became increasingly uneconomical to operate. Kyari emphasized the difference between routine turnaround maintenance and the rehabilitation now needed. While turnaround maintenance is typically scheduled upkeep, rehabilitation involves restoring the refineries from significant capacity loss. Over the years, maintenance issues had left these facilities performing at well below their expected 90% operational capacity, leading to the decision to halt operations until they could be rehabilitated properly. The pipelines have been repeatedly sabotaged, making it impossible to deliver crude effectively, Kyari stated. Even with the best efforts in maintenance, our refineries were struggling to operate at any efficient level. For now, the refineries remain shuttered as Nigeria faces an ongoing fuel shortage. Kyari's explanation underscores the complexity of keeping Nigeria's aging refineries operational and raises questions about the future of domestic refining as the country grapples with solutions to end its reliance on imported petroleum products. The price of fuel in Nigeria is controlled by a combination of factors, including the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA), the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPC), and market forces. While you may not know, there is an agency called the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA). This agency was created by the government of Nigeria, established in 2003, to, among other responsibilities, monitor and regulate the supply and distribution, and determine the prices of petroleum products in Nigeria. Its headquarters is located in Abuja, Nigeria. And then we have another body called the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPC). This state-owned oil company was previously the sole price setter for fuel in Nigeria. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) is responsible for harnessing Nigeria's oil and gas reserves for sustainable national development. It explores, produces, refines oil, and markets and retails petroleum products. It is also involved in petrochemicals and gas development, oil and gas engineering, the supervision of government investments in the upstream sector, and the marketing of Nigeria's accruable crude. It is implementing a renewable energy initiative which links the industry with the agricultural sector to produce ethanol. However, NNPC terminated its exclusive purchase agreement with the Dangote refinery, which allowed other marketers to buy petrol directly from the refinery. This shift has made the fuel pump price more subject to market forces. The recent surge in fuel prices in Nigeria has been driven by multiple factors, significantly impacting the economy and the daily lives of Nigerians. Here's a deeper look at each factor contributing to the rise in fuel prices. 1. Removal of fuel subsidies. In May 2023, President Bola Tinubu announced the removal of Nigeria's long-standing fuel subsidy, a move that quickly led to a dramatic rise in fuel prices. The government argued that the subsidy was financially unsustainable, draining over N400 billion per month from national funds. For years, the subsidy had kept fuel prices artificially low, but it also placed a heavy strain on Nigeria's budget, often crowding out funding for other essential services and infrastructure. Removing the subsidy was seen as a necessary but painful step to restore fiscal stability. However, this shift transferred the full cost of fuel to consumers, sparking inflation, especially in transportation and food sectors. 2. Floating of the naira. In an effort to stabilize Nigeria's foreign exchange market, the Central Bank of Nigeria adopted a floating exchange rate, allowing the value of the naira to be determined by market forces rather than fixed rates. As a result, the naira depreciated significantly, which made importing petroleum products more expensive. Since Nigeria relies heavily on imported refined petroleum products, the weaker naira has directly led to higher landing costs for fuel, pushing up prices at the pump. This has added an additional layer of economic strain, as businesses and consumers struggle to cope with the ripple effects on prices for goods and services across the board. 3. Supply challenges. The removal of the subsidy has also led to logistical and supply challenges across the country. Long queues at filling stations, frequent shortages, and sporadic availability have become a common sight, as suppliers adjust to the new market-driven pricing model. With fuel prices no longer regulated, oil marketers have been reluctant to import fuel due to volatile pricing and exchange rate fluctuations, creating a supply gap. Additionally, Nigeria's limited refining capacity forces it to import most of its fuel, making the nation vulnerable to global price fluctuations and further compounding the scarcity issue. 4. Debt to fuel suppliers. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) is carrying a significant debt to international fuel suppliers, a situation that has worsened due to the government's inability to make timely payments. This debt burden has discouraged some suppliers from fulfilling their obligations to Nigeria, fearing they may not be paid promptly. As a result, suppliers who continue to work with NNPCL often charge higher premiums to cover the risk, leading to increased prices for Nigerian consumers. The debt issue has not only increased pump prices but also strained relationships with suppliers, adding uncertainty to Nigeria's fuel market. Impact on Nigerians. The effects of these price hikes have been widely felt across Nigeria. Key impacts include increased transportation costs, inflation in market prices, reduced access to electricity. These factors combined have created an economic environment where fuel costs continue to shape the lives and expenses of Nigerians, with far-reaching implications for the nation's economy.
The Dangote Refinery recently refuted claims by the Independent Petrol Marketers Association of Nigeria and PETROAN that imported petrol is cheaper than locally refined products. Anthony Chiejina, Group Chief of Branding and Communications, has asserted that Dangote's pricing is at 960 naira per litre for ship delivered and 990 naira per litre for truck delivered fuel. Reflects its commitment to quality, cautioning that cheaper fuel may be substandard. Chiejina also suggested that some marketers might be collaborating with international traders to import low-quality fuel, risking Nigeria becoming a dumping ground for inferior products. IP Man, representing independent marketers and controlling around 85% of retail outlets, contends that market competition should dictate pricing. Dangote, however, emphasizes the need to prioritize quality to safeguard the industry and consumers.
Many Nigerians are unaware of factors influencing petrol prices, such as global oil market fluctuations and government interventions. This knowledge gap feeds public frustration. Launching public education campaigns to explain petrol pricing variables will help citizens make informed decisions. Nigeria's reliance on imported fuel is another factor contributing to price volatility. Investment in local refineries would lessen the country's reliance on imports while creating jobs and promoting economic growth. Encouraging fuel efficiency initiatives can also help reduce fuel demand. Practices like carpooling or increased use of public transportation could ease supply pressure and stabilize prices. Additionally, exploring and investing in renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower could provide long-term alternatives to petrol. So, if you think there are other ways that can help in the reduction fuel price, feel free to let us know in the comments box. And how much do you think fuel should be sold per liter? Stay tuned to TYZ News for more updates on this developing story, and don't forget to subscribe for more insight and news analysis. See you on a next video.